Most Americans think war starts with explosions, missiles, jets, fireballs on the news. But modern war doesn't always look like that. Sometimes it looks like your debit card declining at gas pumps. Sometimes it looks like power flickering and then not coming back on. Sometimes it looks like confusion. Right now, tensions between the United States and Iran are escalating. And the tensions escalate between nation states. The battlefield is no longer just overseas. It can reach here. And tonight, I'm not trying to push panic. I'm not trying to play politics. I'm here to break down realistically what could happen in the United States if conflict escalates, what we need to do and watch for, and how to prepare. Because the difference between panic and preparation is just information. What's up, guys? I'm Kelly. Welcome back to the channel. Before we jump into today's topic, I need to ask you a quick favor. If you get value from this video, hit that like button, drop a comment, and most importantly, share this video with someone you care about. The truth is, the topic that we're covering today always isn't very friendly to the algorithm, and videos like this always don't get pushed the way they should. So the only way this message reaches people who need to hear it is for you to share it. Please do. I appreciate you being here. Now let's get into it. So let's start with reality, not Hollywood. So when people hear the word retaliation, they imagine sleeper cell agents running through the streets or coordinated bombings. Now, could violence happen? Yes. But historically, when Iran or Iran-linked groups retaliate against stronger adversaries, they prefer something else first. Asymmetric. That's right. They hit where it hurts, but where it's hard to trace. Cyber attacks, infrastructure disruption, proxy activities, psychological impact. Because you don't have to destroy a city to destabilize a population. You just have to make them unsure. If tensions turn directly into military actions, the most likely first wave here in the United States won't be explosions. It would be disruptions. Imagine waking up tomorrow and your bank app won't load. Gas pumps are down temporarily. The grocery store card readers are glitching. And then the news outlets are reporting a possible cyber attack incident. No explosions, no sirens, just uncertainty. That is modern warfare. I'm going to walk you through a 48-hour scenario in just a minute. What the first 2 days would realistically look like if a coordinated cyber attack retaliation happened in the United States. And then when I get to that 12 hours, that's where most families realize they're in trouble. So stay with me. But before we get to that, we need to talk about something people throw around a lot without understanding. Let's talk sleeper cells. Now I know the term sounds dramatic, right? Hollywood has turned this into something cinematic, right? But here's what it actually means. A sleeper cell is not a random group of angry people. It's a small number of individuals, often legally present, who live normal lives. They integrate into our society and wait for activation or opportunity. Now, historically, sleeper cells are rare inside the United States, but it's not unheard of, especially globally. Now, our borders was wide ass open for 4 years, and it is believed that there's anywhere from 1,000 to several thousand trained people in here that want to do us harm. Living in your state, your city, your town, just waiting to be activated. They're trained, they're supplied, and they're ready. But my question to you is, are you ready? So let's stay grounded a little bit because I don't want to spread fear. Now, the federal agency has continuously said that there is no specific credible threats at this time. That matters. But we've also been lied to before. They'd rather not tell us the truth so that everyone is not panicking. And in a way, I kind of get that, but that don't make it right. But preparedness doesn't require a confirmed threat. It just requires awareness. If something was to happen here domestically, it would fall in one of these three categories. The first category is the most common, especially in the Western countries, right? Lone actors. These individuals who are not formally part of like a large command structure, uh, but who become ideologically motivated by events overseas. They consume propaganda, they get radicalized online, they convince themselves that they're acting in response to global events. And because they operate alone, they're unpredictable. See, they don't need complex logistics, they don't need international coordination, they don't need a massive network. They just need intent. Now, historically, lone actors often target what security professionals call soft targets, places where people gather and security is light. Now, I want you to remember that term, soft target. I'll be going over that with y'all here shortly. But soft targets, think churches, shopping centers, public events, transportation hubs. Not because they're strategically military objectives, but because they generate fear and headlines. Now, here's the reality. These incidents are rare relative to the size of our population, but they are most statistically likely a form of retaliation, right? Violence uh, in an escalated geopolitical environment, pretty much. And they are extremely difficult to prevent because there's often very minimal warning. Now, the second category. Now, this is more structured, right? Think small, coordinated effort designed to create disruption rather than mass destruction, right? This doesn't necessarily mean explosions. It can mean targeted sabotage of utilities, right? Cyber intrusions paired with um, physical interference, disruption of transportation corridors, and interference with our communication systems. The goal wouldn't necessarily be casualties. The goal would be instability. Because if you disrupt several small systems at once, think about it. Traffic control here, power distribution here, financial systems glitch elsewhere, you create confusion far beyond the scale of the actual action. Modern adversaries understand something very important, and that's you don't have to cripple the entire nation. You just have to make it feel unstable. So, next, the third category. This is kind of like targeting of symbolic or infrastructure locations. Symbolic sites are chosen for emotional impact, right? Infrastructure sites are chosen for practical impact, right? Now, some symbolic sites may include government buildings, landmarks, large public gatherings, or national recognizable locations. And then the infrastructure sites could include energy facilities, water systems, telecommunication nodes, transportation hubs, financial institutions. And here's the important distinction, right? An attack on infrastructure doesn't have to destroy it. It just has to interrupt it. Interruptions create economic shock. Economic shock creates anxiety, and anxiety spreads faster than damage. Now, there is one more other category, and I consider it the fourth, right? And believe me, this is the one that you don't want to see. The last court category is something like what Israel's seen on October 7th, but larger, much larger. Coordinated urban warfare in big cities, small towns, and our neighborhoods. Attacks would be on soft targets like churches, hospitals, schools, stores. And there is intel out there saying that this is what they're planning on, that the attack on Israel was just a dress rehearsal for the United States. Now, I'm not telling you this to scare you. I'm telling you this so you be prepared. So, what does that look like in reality? It looks like pre incident surveillance, people mapping out entrances, exits. It looks like probing security systems. It looks like online rhetoric suddenly escalating towards real world action. It looks like attempts to exploit soft targets, not military bases, but crowded, unsecured public places. But here's a critical thing: preparedness is about behavior, not profile. We don't look at race, religion, we look at behavioral patterns. Suspicious activity is about actions, not identity. All right, so let's talk about soft targets. A soft target is any person or place that looks easy to attack. Someone who appears distracted, unaware, or is unlikely to resist. And that's the key. It's not about being weak, it's about being perceived as easy. Criminals aren't usually looking for a fight, they're looking for opportunity. They watch body language, awareness, behavior. They notice who's glued to their phone, who's not paying attention, who's alone, and who looks completely surprised by their surroundings. That's why in places like grocery stores, parking lots, gas stations, large public gatherings are considered soft targets. People are relaxed, distracted, and they're moving through transitions. So, how do we avoid becoming one? First, and the most important, situational awareness. Keep your head up, eyes moving. Know what's going on and happening around you. You don't have to be paranoid, but be present. That means quit looking at your damn phone in public. Second thing you could do, confidence. It's how you carry yourself. Walk with purpose. Look like you know where you're going. Predators, they look for hesitation and uncertainty. The third is paying attention to transition moments, right? Getting in or out of your car, pumping gas, loading groceries. These are the moments when people are most vulnerable. And finally, have a simple plan in your head. Know where your exits are. Know where you would move if something went wrong. Preparation creates calm, and calm keeps you thinking clearly. At the end of the day, being a hard target isn't about acting tough. It's about awareness, mindset, and readiness. You don't have to be the toughest person in the room. You just can't be the easiest. And so, even if nothing violent ever happens, there is something far more likely that would impact every single household in this country: cyber retaliation. And it's attractive because it's deniable. You can cause disruption without triggering a full scale war. And Iran has invested heavily in cyber capabilities over the last decade. Whether likely targets, think energy grids, water treatment facilities, financial systems, telecommunication networks, transportation logistics, hospitals. They want chaos in the streets. They want psychological pressure. See, you don't need to take down the entire grid. You need localized outages. You don't need to erase the whole banking system. You just need to freeze transactions for 48 hours. And here's why that matters. See, America runs on just-in-time systems. Most grocery stores carry about 3 days of supply. Gas stations, they depend on continuous digital payment systems. Hospitals, they rely on network infrastructure. Disrupt the digital layer and you disrupt the physical world. If ATMs go down, people can't access cash, panic spreads. If misinformation spreads online at the same time, panic spreads faster. And here's something most people miss. Coordinated misinformation is often part of a modern conflict. Fake reports, deep fakes, false announcements of martial law, rumors of shortages. See, you really don't have to physically attack a city if you can make it psychologically unstable. Now let's walk through a 48-hour window that I mentioned. So hour 1 through 6. So we get the report of the overseas escalation. The markets react. Cybersecurity alerts spike, right? Hours 6 through 12, localized outages reported. Gas stations may having issues with payments. Social media rumors explode online. Hours 12 through 24, long lines at gas stations. Hour 12 to 24, long lines at gas stations. ATMs drained. Grocery shelves start to thin. People begin posting unverified information online. And this is where unprepared families feel it, because this is when cash matters. This is when fuel levels matter. This is where having food in your pantry stops you from panicking. Now, hour 24 to 48 hours, authorities finally clarify who is responsible. Systems may start becoming back online, but the trust is shaken. The damage has been done. There's looting, and lawlessness begins. And the people who were ready barely had time to change their routine. So, if tensions do escalate, here's what I personally would watch for: sudden coordinated cyber advisories, unexplained financial system slowdowns or shutdowns, localized but simultaneously infrastructure outages, and then large-scale misinformation campaigns. Don't just look for one event. The patterns, look at the patterns. The patterns will tell you more than headlines. See, you don't prepare for war. You prepare for disruptions. Have physical cash at home. Keep your fuel tank above half. Have water stored. Have food stored. Have a family communication plan. Have offline copies of critical documents. And know where your family needs to meet up if the phones go down. And most importantly, stay calm, because panic creates more danger than most threats ever will. Listen carefully. Preparedness is not about expecting the worst. It's about refusing to be surprised by it. If nothing happens, good. If something does, you're ready. Modern conflict doesn't always look like bombs. Sometimes it looks like confusion. And in confused times, calm people lead. So ask yourself this honestly. If the systems glitch tonight, if misinformation spread tomorrow, if bank accounts froze for 48 hours, would your family be scrambling or ready? That's the difference. That's why we prepare. Thank y'all for watching, and please share this video with someone you care about. Remember, those who prepare today survive tomorrow. Patriot Prepper out.